we have the defiance and struggle years, so let's put that in over there. And finally we end off with the 2004 election. Alright, so everything looks a bit cluttered at this stage, so we can probably move it and change things. So let's get all the main points in a specific layout so we can see them. I'm going to make everything yellow, all these major points. We probably could also make them bold, so the writing bold. That looks a bit better, so let's just make these ones bold. Okay, let's click that one, make it bold. And that looks a little bit better already, and that's also going to be bold and bold. Apartheid 1948, bold, and then that's the conclusion. Now if we let's get that out of the way. Now if we want to get different learners or groups of learners to research different topics on this, which can later be synthesized into a whole work or a project, then we could have various learners looking at the conflict of the Xhosa and the San. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign certain learners to do that. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to have a group of learners doing the conflict of Xhosa and the San. Another group is going to look at the 1795 Britain occupation, the discovery of minerals. Another group can study and give feedback. Then we'll go the Union of South Africa, what is involved there, apartheid, and then the defiance struggle. That should be in yellow as well. So okay, so we've got all of these things. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this little panel over here, show story. We're going to say describe, and I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can read it clearly. Okay, so let's font size. That looks describe. Doesn't make it look much different. The conflict with the Xhosa and San. Write as much as you can on the topic. And then we'll say add more detail to the mind map, or make your own as part of the project. We'll just call it a project. Right, so let's just make this nice and big, and we'll go with that size. Oh, that's a little bit too big. That's a bit. We'll go with maybe that size. Right. Maybe a bit smaller than that. We'll have to get used to this. Alright. Alright, now we're going to save this work. So let's save it. We're going to click on the red button, save and exit. I'm going to call this one Xhosa and San. So we'll call this project, my work, I'll call it Essay History, Xhosa, San, Conflict. Okay, and we're going to save it. And then I'm going to give it to one of the learners to do. So let's have it, we're going to assign it to probably grade 7. So let's go to do's. Alright, so we've got a whole lot of to-dos already. We can see their work. Alright, so we've got our work. Let's have a look. Content gathering, history of South Africa. Okay. Alright, we're going to assign this to a few learners across the various classes. So we're going to go the Xhosa and San part of it. So we're going to go research the following topic on the story of our country. They can work collaboratively, which we'll get into later, where children can work together on this topic. So we'll go for a specific date. We'll make it from now to the end of October. So let's go till the 7th, which is a Saturday, but it doesn't really matter because that doesn't really matter at all. We're just using this as an example. So we're going to go to grade 7. So we're going to bring it down. Here we have our grade 7s. Okay, we're going to choose specific learners. Alright, let's go with, I don't know the strengths of these learners, so we'll just go with Abigail, Daniel Scholz, Ethan Yerster, Jessica Marais, and let's go with another one, Keegan Schmoor. Alright, so we've got those, and we're going to set them, set to do. Right, so setting to do has been set, we close it. Alright, and the work has been assigned to these particular learners. Alright, now we're going to log in as a learner and see how they see that work. Well, the important thing is to, according to your need. Well, as I said, it's critically important that you structure the activities to suit your particular need. This could be linked to any sort of activity that involves a kind of process, a whole series of steps. For example, like a science experiment, and I even thought now it could be possibly even used in number sequencing, especially when you use mind maps and they are read clockwise. Okay, but we'll get into that. But now we're going to just basically log in as one of those learners, and we'll just type in anything and then get you to understand how to mark that work. I'm going to just show you how to log in or impersonate one of the learners. So I'm going to go to the admin section and I'm going to go to impersonate pupil login. Now remember, one of the kids' name was Da Costa, so I'm going to go Da Costa. Da Costa is D-A, and it's, there we go, Abigail Da Costa. I'm sure she was one of the learners that we placed to do this activity. So we log in. Now Abigail would see, okay, she's got an alert there. So it says new to do, South African history causes sand conflict. So she opens it up and she's going to then see, look, we've got all of this. She'll open the panel, describe the conflict. She'll read all of this. She'll read all the information that's and then she will spend a bit of time writing about and adding writing and adding detail. Right, so there's a whole lot of detail that's going to be added and written in over here. She might then add further points that come into this side of it. We could have, for example, over here, Kimberly. Let's just close this. This panel has to be closed if you want to work on the mind map. So with the sand, we got the almond hedge, which was built to keep out the sand. Okay, so we'll just put the almond hedge was to keep out the sand. So part of the we're going to say Abigail logs in. Abigail Da Costa logs in, and she sees in her to-dos that there is this SA history on Xhosa and sand conflict. Okay, now when she opens it up, she'll see it's about the whole of South African history, but her section that she's covering is going to be on the conflict between the Xhosa and the sand, which she'll get by reading this, which was written by the teacher. And then writing and adding detail will come in here. Look, you can structure it in any way that you see necessary. And then she'll add a few of her own details. So you'll see here we've put in a little bit the almond hedge, which the Dutch settlers built to keep out the sand people and the Xhosa tribes at the time, and well, that could be part of the what happened. And there's a lot of other things that could be written in over here. We've got the group that's looking about minerals and all of that. Will write a little bit about the Kimberley and the mining of diamonds at Kimberley. We could join that together. Yes, it'll be a group that's dealing with that. They would be Kimberley and mining. All right. Anyway, Abigail will do all her work. She'll write in this section. All the writing will go in. She'll complete her mind map. She might even decide that all of this other stuff goes away. But in this context, she'll understand that she's covering this part of a larger project. It's pretty good for teamwork. All right, now she'll save. Now, how does she save? She's going to click on this little red button over here, save her work, and it's saved. She might decide, okay, it's time to hand it in, and then she'll click on the button over here, the handing, and hand in her work. So you'll find that handing in the work is going to be handed in by clicking on that little button over there. Right, so she's going to hand in her work to us. It's your turn to then evaluate her work and give her a mark. So let's go through that part of it. Abigail must just remember that when she's finished, and us as teachers should also be aware that we need to log out. So we're just going to log her out. Now there's something that's rather important that we need to understand, that when Abigail's finished her work and she's gone through her mind map and she's added a lot of detail, then it's time for her to hand it in. So she would save her work, and then over here you'll see it says continue work. That means she could still work on it and she can hand it in to her teacher. So as we are impersonating Abigail, we just hand it in. Alright, she'll say thanks for the project. Interesting. Let's just have a look and see what happens if she opens it. Alright. Okay, she could move things around. Let's just see what happens. Alright. Well, anyway, Abigail's handed in her work, and that means she can only give it a different name. So she's going to log out. Alright, now we're going to take on the position of being a teacher, logging in to go and see the work that was done on the sand and the Corsa by Abigail, Da Costa, and the other 4 learners. Right, now since Abigail has handed in her work, you'll see that this alert section is showing us work that needs to be looked at. And that's why you've got this there's 19 bits of work that need to be looked at. So I'm going to have a look at Abigail's work. Let's have a click, and it says work to do, South African history. There's the core work of Abigail. So let's open it, and there's only Abigail's is shown. It's the only one that's handed in at this particular moment. So let's have a good look at it. Click on it, we open it. You can open the panel section, see what Abigail has written over here. We can click over there, and we can comment on Abigail's work. So thanks for the project, interesting. Okay, let's have a look at Abigail's project. So we can have a look over here. This is giving Abigail's project, and we can also look at the written section over there. Like we can read, we could scroll down and say lovely project, bit of work, more detail, would make it more informative. Right, so we can, and then we could save that. We could redo to do. So we could actually ask Abigail that this is not quite up to scratch, and we'd like her to add a bit more detail. 7 out of 10. Alright, 7 out of 10 for Abigail. Right, there we go. Save, and that work has then been handed in. Now if you want to get Abigail's mark, if we want to get a mark from that, I'll show you how to do that now in a minute. So we say, let's go through that again. It says your report. Imagine you've got all the others have done their work and they've handed them in. So there'd be the other 4 learners have handed them in this particular group. Then you'd select all the different bits of work, go to report, and you'd give it a name. Okay, so it's a South African History Project, and it's going to create a report in Excel. Look over there, you can, and it could be a PDF or Excel. Excel is great because we can just extract that work. Okay, let's open it in Excel. Right, so it's downloading an Excel file. At the bottom of your screen you'll see it's loading the Excel file. Alright, I've opened up the Excel spreadsheet that I've got from, and you can see already here it's showing me the work of Abigail, and it's showing my comment, a lovely bit of work. And another interesting thing is showing me the learners who have not handed in their work. It's created a little list over here of the learners who still have to hand in their work. But this is quite useful. So with a very simple formula we can derive Abigail's mark for export. So I'm just going to show you that formula. We know that this is a text file, so we're going to choose the, alright, so we're going to take a little formula we're going to put in to kind of extract that mark. And mark that 7 out of 10. We want to create a mark for that. So we'll go create a little, alright, we have a whole range of information that's been placed into an Excel sheet, and you can see that I've added some detail here with as if some other children had also got a comment and a mark. So we're going to extract the mark alone out of the bit of work. We just want that little piece, the 7, and in this particular instance we want the 8, and this one's got 10 out of 10. So what we're going to do is write a little formula. So we're going to look first of all for the right bit of information. So we're going to look for this little piece at the end here. So G7, and we're going to look for the number of characters, and you can see, and with the 10 out of 10 we've got 5 characters, the 0, the 1, the backslash, the 0 and the 1. That's 5. So we're going to take 5 characters, and in this particular instance you'll see that it's taking a space in the front. That's space in the front. So if we copy this, we would have, it'll still get 10 out of 10 over there. Alright, so let's have a look. If we copied it, it should take out, there we go. Alright, so now, but that's not really good enough because we need to still extract the 7 alone. So what we're going to do is we're going to take of this number over here, we're going to take the left part, left, and we're going to, of the right, and we're going to take the left, and we only want to get 2 characters like that, and we should get the 7. But the problem is we've still got a space in front there. So what we're going to do we're going to put trim, means it deletes all, takes away all spaces, trim, and we're going to add in another bracket on that side and enter. Right, so we copy that formula, all of our marks should be correct. So let's just copy that, and we have all these marks which can just be copied and pasted into pencil box or wherever you are going to use them. Alright, and that's completed that part of it.